Well, we always say retirement is a journey, one that you shouldn't have to navigate solo. So that is why every week here on The Right Path to Retirement, we turn to financial advisor Jimmy Lin, certified financial planner and the founder of Right Path Wealth Management right here in Las Vegas. Jimmy, it is always great to be with you. How we doing this weekend?
Doing great, Casey. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. I'm about to put you to work, Jimmy. Coming up on today's show, we are going to talk about that recent cost of living adjustment for Social Security. We are going to talk about, is gold a good investment for you right now? Plus, we're going to hear from an NBA superstar on his fear of risk in retirement. But before we get to any of it, we just want to make sure that you know how to get in touch with us if you've been wondering whether your retirement plan is still on track. 702-744-8344 is our phone number. And Jimmy has set aside 5 spots on his calendar for a complimentary retirement consultation exclusively for our radio listeners this week. Jimmy, can you tell us a little bit about what that consultation entails? What can people expect if they claim a spot on your calendar?
Yeah, if you call in and get on our calendar, we just want to have a conversation. It's going to be over the phone, very not threatening. Just we schedule time on our calendar. I'll give you a call at that time and we'll talk about your situation. You know, like what's going on in your life right now? What are some of the questions you have? You know, retirement planning. If you're listening to this radio show on a regular basis, you know it can be daunting. A lot of moving parts, but this is the world that I live in. So it's just starting that conversation. Sometimes, Casey, we can just get straight to the point and answer some questions and have the people on their way with a lot of information. And sometimes it requires a little bit more analysis, you know, maybe a portfolio analysis of something of that nature. And if that's the case, we'll invite you into our Summerlin or our Henderson office for a complimentary meeting and kind of dig a little deeper. But yeah, that's a starting point, is that phone call. It takes about 15 minutes.
And I just want to emphasize, too, there's no obligation attached to this offer. This is just a conversation. It is 15 minutes on the phone with Jimmy to start you out. You guys can chat about your situation so he can get a better idea of how he can best help you. So go ahead, give us a call now, 702-744-8344. And like Jimmy said, after that phone call, he's got offices in Henderson and Summerlin. You can sit down with him and you can work on that best path forward together. So we are standing by right now to take your call. Claim your spot while we've got them. That number one more time, 702-744-8344. Or if online is better for you, you can head to rightpathwm.com. Click that Contact Us tab, fill out your info, and we will be happy to reach out to you. All right, Jimmy, let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Every year, the government issues a cost of living adjustment, or COLA, for Social Security. It's supposed to help keep up with inflation. And in 2026, that COLA will be 2.8%. On the average monthly check, that new COLA translates to about $56 extra a month. So, Jimmy, talk to us about this increase and if retirees should count on pocketing any of this money that they're getting with this COLA increase.
Yeah, well, people get excited. They love getting that statement in the mail telling them how much their Social Security is going to increase. But that is actually not the purpose of it, right? It says when Social Security is going to increase, so how much you're going to be receiving, you got to understand the reasoning behind that. The reasoning, it is a cost of living adjustment, meaning that the Social Security Administration is tracking inflation, and they're tracking different reports that say, you know, basically, how much does a basket of goods at the grocery store cost you, for example, and how much are eggs increasing in cost, or a gallon of gas increasing in cost, or whatever the case may be. And so when you get that increase of, let's say it's that average $56 a month, don't be expecting to put that into the bank and see your account value growing over the course of the year, because generally speaking, it's going to cost you more to buy stuff at the grocery store. It'll cost you more to travel to a friend's house. And so most of the time, that cost of living adjustment is just compensating for that. And the thing is that when they do the cost of living adjustments, they don't really factor in things like the increase in housing costs, the healthcare costs that increase, that, you know, obviously the people that we work with, the retiree community, healthcare costs are a big concern. And the COLAs don't really factor that in. And even travel, you know, because at this stage in our lives, you know, we're looking to have fun. We're looking to see the world or go visit friends. And the cost of traveling, that's minimal as far as how much it contributes to the COLA. So I would say that when you get that statement, appreciate it because it means that, what you receive now is still hopefully buying the same amount of goods that you were last year, but don't expect any type of surplus that you're going to see in your bank that you're going to be utilized for other stuff. That's the biggest piece of advice I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, Jimmy, a lot of people get excited when they hear about that bump, an extra $56 a month. That sounds pretty good, but I think it feels like whenever we get a raise, something comes along and it grabs a chunk of it. So I wanted to ask, are there any hidden costs or adjustments like, say, higher Medicare premiums that could end up eating into your COLA increase?
Yeah, Casey, you nailed it right on the head. Is that whenever we get those COLA increases for our Social Security payments, sadly, what typically comes along with that is the increase in your Medicare Part B premiums. So right now, I think people are paying probably around $185, I think the number is, for their Part B premium. And, most people over the age 65, they are paying that Part B premium. And that will generally increase, just like you get an increase for COLA. They also, inflation, cost of medical servicing increases as well. So Medicare passes on that expense in the form of an increase in your Medicare Part B premium. So a lot of times that can eat up like nearly 50% of that COLA that you receive. So at that point, if your COLA is just keeping up with inflation, but then nearly half of it's going to an increased Medicare premium, you're not really coming out ahead. There are things that people can really factor into that. One consideration when you're looking at that is if your healthcare costs are just increasing at a rate that is not manageable, and you're on, let's say, a Medicare supplemental or Medicare gap plan where you're paying a monthly premium, sometimes you consider moving to a Medicare Advantage plan because oftentimes there's no premium for that. You do want to make sure you know what you're giving up, though, because it's essentially going from a model where you can see anyone that receives Medicare or accepts Medicare on that supplemental or Medigap plan to switching to an Advantage plan where oftentimes it's kind of an HMO model where you have a primary care physician, you got to see them, and you got to get a referral to a specialist. So you got to understand what you're giving up by not paying that additional premium. But some of these Advantage plans, they also have some give back. So they'll give you some type of payback to cover some of that Medicare Part B premium that you're paying, and that will help alleviate some of the pain you feel by having that increased premium. So there are options, and that's really why we recommend people, if you're in a situation where you want to try to stretch that Social Security and maybe increase the income that you're getting from some investments in order to maintain your level of your lifestyle and be able to keep pace with inflation. I encourage you that's what we do at our office is we look at situations like this and we can give you advice. We'll do that over the phone. If you want to schedule a complimentary consultation with us, 702-744-8344. You can get on my calendar and I will personally give you a call at that time. And it'll be 15, maybe 30 minutes of just talking about your situation. Hopefully we can provide you with some answers and point you in the right direction.
And I just want to remind you too, Jimmy's local. He's right here in Las Vegas. I don't want you to miss out on your chance to speak with him. So that number for you again, it's 702-744-8344. This is just a phone call to start out. No pressure, no obligation. That number for you again, 702-744-8344. Or you can always visit rightpathwm.com. Click on that Contact Us tab, fill out your info, and we will be happy to reach out to you. All right, Jimmy, gold, it has been glittering at record highs lately, and financial influencer Dean Indot says one reason why is the growing distrust of central banks around the world, like the Fed. Take a listen.
So gold is, historically your best hedge for what? Inflation. When you have all these central banks all over the world just freaking printing money and pumping up inflation, right? What's your best hedge for high inflation, for easy money is gold. Because gold is still the number one, perceived store of value. That's why, because the world's getting less confident in all the central banks out there. Gold just became the number 2 rank in reserve assets. It just surpassed the euro.
But here's the question, Jimmy. When an asset like gold nears a record high, is that really the time to buy? What do you tell clients who want to jump in?
Well, we definitely don't tell people to buy high and sell low, right? That's the opposite of the advice we like to give people. But oftentimes that's what you're doing, right? If you're jumping in when prices are at an all-time high with gold, you're essentially buying it, hoping that it's going to continue to track higher and higher. And that's not always the case. That's not what we see. We see it kind of ebbing and flowing. So we don't encourage people to jump on the gold train. That's like timing the market, and it's not something that we love to do. The other thing about gold is if you are interested in gold, we generally want to tell people we're not big fans of actually buying the physical gold bars. I mean, there are other ways to get exposure to gold. There's ETFs that exist out there where you can basically track gold and be able to benefit if the value of that goes up. So physical gold, it's a little bit, it's not as liquid. You got to bring it somewhere. Usually the more hands it touches in transactions, those fees will eat away, and you're generally not getting the maximum or optimal value that you should out of that piece of gold. I'm not saying that it's not something that you do not want as part of your portfolio. I think that gold plays a part because it creates balance within your portfolio. What we generally see is that when there's uncertainty in the market, whether it's like the jobs report, it's inflation, it's geopolitical and political things going on. So if stocks are going down, generally what we see is the opposite is true of gold, and it creates that balance within your portfolio. There is a place for gold. I would just say don't run to gold just because you see it on the news all the time and you think you need to have that as part of your portfolio.
I think an important point here, too, is having that partner that you can talk through these kinds of things with as they pop up along your retirement journey. Building that relationship with somebody who can guide you is going to help make all the difference for you. And a complimentary retirement consultation with Jimmy is the perfect place to start. 702-744-8344 is our phone number. We've got those 5 spots set aside for our radio listeners. No pressure, no obligation. It's just a 15-minute phone conversation with Jimmy to start you out. You guys can talk about your situation. You can see where you stand and how he could help you move forward with that confidence that you are looking for. 702-744-8344 is what you need to dial. I'll say it one more time so you can make sure that you've got it down. That's 702-744-8344, or you can always learn more at rightpathwm.com. That is going to do it for us this week. We will be back next week, same time, same place, with more great insight from certified financial planner Jimmy Lin here on The Right Path to Retirement. Take care.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Right Path Wealth Management. Right Path Wealth Management is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Right Path Wealth Management are not subject to investment advisory requirements. Investing involves risk, including potential loss of principal. Any reference to the protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing carrier. This radio podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It's not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decision, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Right Path Wealth Management is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Right Path Wealth Management. Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA.